Some athletes, you just remember them for their stats, their championships, their numbers. But then there are the ones who are something more. They become legends, remembered for this whole aura, an energy, a story. Today, we're going to break down the legend of one of basketball's most unforgettable figures, Kevin Garnett. What was it that made him so legendary? So let's really get into it. What are the actual ingredients? What's the secret sauce that makes an athlete a legend? Is it being a pioneer? Is it just pure raw intensity? Is it flat-out dominance on the stat sheet? Or is it something else? We're going to use Kevin Garnett as the perfect case study to figure it out. All right, so the first piece of this puzzle actually starts before he ever even played a single pro game. It all begins with him being a trailblazer, an absolute game changer, who just decided to break a pattern that had been set in stone in the NBA for 2 decades. I mean, you really gotta let this sink in. For 20 straight years, the path to the NBA was through college. Period. It was this unwritten, unbreakable rule. It's just how things were done. And then along comes this kid from high school in 1995 named Kevin Garnett, who basically said, nah, I'm changing the rules. And that one decision, wow, it set off this massive domino effect. See, Garnett didn't just get drafted, he kicked the door wide open for an entire generation of future superstars. His success proved it could be done, and that paved the way for guys like Kobe Bryant and LeBron James to follow right behind him. He was the one who forged that new path. But okay, being a pioneer, that was just the start of the story. The real heart of the Garnett legend, the thing everybody talks about, was his level of competitiveness. It was almost mythical, a fire that truly set him apart from literally everyone else on that court. And look, this wasn't just about yelling louder than the next guy. No. His intensity was a weapon. It was psychological. He would get so deep inside an opponent's head with trash talk that was so quick, so specific, and sometimes so quiet. It was way more terrifying than any loud taunt. It was like a form of mental warfare. And here's the craziest part. Those impossibly high standards were aimed right back at himself more than anyone else. Just think about that. He has this moment of success, a great defensive play, and his brain is still locked on a past failure. That's a level of drive and self-criticism that is just, it's hard to even wrap your head around. And this fire, it just never went out. I mean, ever. There was no off switch. You want to play a casual game of ping pong? Nope, not with him. Team practice? For KG, that was Game 7 of the NBA Finals every single day. And that famous pregame ritual of headbutting the basket support, that wasn't a show. That was him literally psyching himself up for battle. The intensity was always on. So, here's the big question, right? All that fire, all that legendary intensity, it makes for a great story. But did it actually translate to being great on the court? Did it lead to real, measurable success? Well, let's take a look at the numbers. The answer is a resounding yes. I mean, look at the hardware. He's one of a tiny handful of players in the entire history of basketball to win the League MVP award, the Defensive Player of the Year award, and an NBA championship. Winning just one of those makes you a legend. Winning all 3 puts you on a whole other planet. And a huge part of his greatness was this idea of defensive versatility. He was so long, so athletic, he could guard anyone. The quickest little guy on the court or the biggest, strongest guy, it didn't matter. He could switch onto them and just completely blow up an opponent's entire game plan. He was a defensive revolution all by himself. Now let's talk about his all-around game. We'll just start with this one big number, 25,000. That's how many points he scored. An incredible achievement, a Hall of Fame career on its own. But as you're about to see, for Kevin Garnett, that number is just the tip of the iceberg. And this, right here, this is arguably the most exclusive club in NBA history. To be this dominant in every single major category, scoring, rebounding, passing, and on defense with steals and blocks, it's just almost unheard of. Garnett is one of the only players who's ever hit all of these milestones. It's the ultimate proof that he could do everything on a basketball court at an absolutely elite level. So we've got the pioneer, the intense competitor, and the statistical giant. But there's a final layer to being a true legend, and that's cultural impact. Did their influence stretch beyond the court? For KG? Oh, absolutely. His legacy is so fascinating because it has these two completely different sides. On the court, he created this unforgettable athletic ritual that just screamed warrior. But then, years after he was done playing, he steps onto a movie set for Uncut Gems and delivers this incredible performance that critics loved. He wasn't just a basketball player. He was a true cultural figure. So, when you put it all together, the legend of Kevin Garnett isn't just one thing. It's the whole package. It's the courage of that high school kid who changed the league, the fire of a competitor who never took a single playoff, the jaw-dropping stats of an all-time great, and the charisma of a cultural icon. It's all of it. Which brings us right back to our original question. After seeing all the different pieces that made up Kevin Garnett's career, what do you think truly defines a legend? Is it the numbers you can count? Is it the fire that you can feel? Or is it the influence that lasts long after the final buzzer? Something to think about.